on the fly, so I didn't check the spelling, but the archaic pagan name for the goddess of Ireland and the name of that nation itself, Eiru. And so I hadn't had a chance. I haven't even looked into it yet. I've been just trying to find words for what is tertiarily what I have put together. So my understanding is that a dude not of Eiru's kin tried, allegedly failed, but the attempt was something beyond infuriating, to behead one of Eiru's kin. And Eiru all of a sudden had kin consciousness and decided to cause an oi oi oi. That's what I love to hear. That's what I love to hear from my people of Eiru, from my people, and from when I think I hear the oi 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 in Ireland, right? Or is that England? I don't know. I feel like the oi 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 is like that intimidating kind of oi 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 when you're trying to be like an American, be like, hey pal, right? You know? I like that. Wherever they say oi oi oi, I'd like to get into an argument with somebody there so I can say oi oi oi, right? Give me the oi oi. I want a chance to yell at somebody, be oi oi oi, and I'm taken seriously. But yeah. You know, here's the deal. Here's the deal, right? America has a better way of dealing with the evils that are the consequences of the corruptions of our political system that makes the body politic, right? So we've gone through all this immigrant crisis stuff, right? And well before the government could act, as far as life on the ground is concerned, Americans acted on their own accord because of how much easier it is to fucking retreat or stand your ground based on the principles of market flow for where people live, right? I'm not trying to say the housing market like I'm talking about economics. I'm not talking about economics at all. I'm talking about the principles of freedom that lead the economics of this country, but it leads many other fucking things, right? Very long. They get out of them much sooner, because very quickly everybody shifts because they're free to, right? You don't like being entrapped in a DEI city, you know, where all the jobs are DEI-based fucking employments and things, like, because believe me, they still do that as personal preference of the company, you know, so they don't have to change a goddamn thing really, unless of course it doesn't suit whatever they're going for. It doesn't matter really, right? So, but at any rate, and how's it going, man? Is that Howard? I think I see Howard. It's usually Howard. I see the 8s. Yeah, that's Howard. And, bro, oil up for I know, right? You know, we just had some rain, and the rain has cleared up. The sun's back out. It's only 6 o'clock. It's kind of hot. If I wasn't already driving, or I didn't, you know, on the highway, you know, where it'd be safe to do so, I'd flip this shirt off real fast. I mean, I'm sure it is safe to do, like, I don't do those kinds of things, right? Especially because it's tight on me in a good way now, right? I used to have a big chest in a bad way. I have a big chest in a good way, so the shirt still has a hard time coming on and off of me for very good reasons. But anyway, thanks for thinking of me, no homo. Unless you're a chick who wants me oiled up, but typically they don't tell me that kind of thing. Girls get very embarrassed when they let the whole world know who they have a crush on before they're ready to go steady. You ready to go steady? Anyway, So anyway, Ireland, Ireland is dealing with their parliamentary system, which doesn't have separation of powers. The nation is the state, where in America, in the USA, there are different states within the nation, right? You only have one state in eiru. The United States has 50, plus America as a whole. You're a fucking island, right? At the very least, your disposition is you ain't got nowhere else to go, right? It's your home. You don't want to fucking appropriate someone else's home. You're taking responsibility for your fucking actions, or you're taking responsibility for the fate of your nation. I want, just be of honorable spirit. You got to do what you got to do. I got faith in you boys. All right, if these are some real Irish boys growing up in this fucking universe, loving or hating something about whatever, you're probably generally doing the right thing. Whether I think your ultimate ends are good or not, stay within good means. At the very least, keep good means, because especially if the end doesn't pay off, right? Forget the justification. If it pays off and that's the justification, then you're a horrible fucking human being, that's why evil works. Evil wants the payoff. The payoff is the justification for the means to the end. So, some people are not psychopaths. They're wrapped up in the crazy, and they don't realize they're not going to get the end that they want. Those are the people I'm trying to save from the psychopath who just wants to get paid at the end, and will crash and burn the spirit that you fought for, and in reflection you will wonder where the fucking thing went. Right? And unfortunately, we're all learning. One of the worst things we're learning is that the ultimate evil is not truly going to be defeated by persecuting the crimes, the personal moral crimes of the ultimate evil. Which gets into the issue of people like the Epstein class and those that would have the world this way. So, it's a question of, are these good old lads, before this happened, were they rational people before this happened, right? Is this uprising just coming out of nowhere because they hated the news? And on top of that, what is the accomplishment in the long term, right? This is a small part of what the spirit needs to rise. And you don't want, because look, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, right? Because I was harshly critical of the entire reaction to, unfortunately, because it's just an understanding of what civil-mindedness is stuff, but like whether it's George Floyd or anything in the BLM consciousness, right? The Black Lives Matter, or the Balam consciousness, if you want to get into their esoteric gaslightings, right? So you got to have some people that have got that have got a plan that went into this with forethought, as much as knowing that a little bit of fucking violence is necessary, because of who is not hearing you over what is a legitimate threat, right? One can ask about the legitimateness, right? Like, I don't know if I'm about to turn around and look into this and be like, oh, this kind of looks fake as fuck. I hope that this doesn't blow up in their faces, right? Like, that better not be the goddamn case, because, I've come across some shit that many people are convinced the footage is legit of seeing things. I look at it, I was like, dude, I don't think that footage is legit, right? Or I don't think you've contextualized this footage correctly, properly, thoroughly, right? I detest when somebody makes a claim without showing me the work to the claim, right? If you're gonna fucking make a declarative statement of the conceptualization of what is, you better be able to show me the trivium process by which you drew this conclusion. All I ask for is a demonstration of the trivium process, which most people, you have to not say use the trivium, like you have to be like, oh, could you please explain it to me this way, right? Like, this is how I argue online. It's like, okay, I can't fucking sit here and just blurt out the word trivium and get anywhere in the comments section, depending on who my audience is for the fucking fight with the troll I choose to engage in for my own humor. But I have to just simply apply, as the Black Mirror, the trivium process of the argument onto them and watch them buckle under their own rhetoric. And how's it going, Stein? I see you. And hey, Sherlock, Shylock, whichever one it is. How's it doing, dude? How's it doing, dude? How's it going, dude? How's it doing, dude? Works really well too. But that still flipped out of my mouth, not the way I would like to have said it. There are many issues in the world that are going up one way and down another way for different people, right? I am sure that just like the Black Irish before them, there will be a wonderful small part of Ireland that's going to have these people. By good, ordinary immigration standards that are kind of baked into the cake with people that that they're Irish. They know the Irish life, right? They have they have stories of growing up. They can tell you an Irish story of growing up that is a legitimate thing, unique with the immigration story, unique with the racial challenges, but no different than some had it tough but fair. In the American black community, as an example, or maybe even like the French got a lot of fucking people of color that they've had for a long time, right? Half of this comes from their imperial relationships in the past, right? Or their various dealings with things like when America was a British colony, and perhaps the French bought slaves and then liberated them from the Americans or something like that. Like this kind of thing. I think that might have happened. I can't remember. Forgive me if I'm screwing up here, because there's a whole fucking history of that small portion of the black world that is French, like black French, African French, or whatever you want to call it. Like it's like a lot of these things, like African American, like it comes off a little crude, and so people like to fucking like make an easier term for what they are, but that easier term usually I feel is racially insulting to them, right? Because like that always bothered me with like my grandmother. Like I really liked that my grandmother was French, and like I know, yeah, she's American. I said, yeah, Grandma, I know you're American, but I mean you're French, right? That was me as a kid having just a very matter of fact, what the fuck are people? Anyway, just a matter of fact, like bloodline consciousness thing. As I don't know how the fuck old I was. And I think that's normal with everybody. They want to make that unnormal, right? They want to make that unnormal because they're building offended sensibility to everyone else to push the matter of it's just too offensive to speak properly with proper words of what things properly are, and the meaning for that. Oh, I like this sign. What is this? Still have options. Yeah, okay, good. I just saw this big sign. It says GLP-1 failing you. Good. People are fucking paying attention, right? Good. People have been paying. I've noticed people have been paying attention, but man, I still see them selling that shit. So, like, if you saw my interview with Ashley Weiss, we talk primarily about GLP-1. So, that's just in the zeitgeist, contributing to the benefit of health. So, that's raising awareness that people taking those pills are not only that those or taking that medicines, not only that treatment hurt them, but there's ways of dealing with it. Because it's, like we talk about, like GLP-1 was used in something else, and then they shifted its market focus and changed its application, turned the side effect into a feature in a new market because they could move around the nature of the dosing, right? And thus a new way to administer the medicine, right? Because it was more important that the company that owns the rights to GLP-1 find an ethical way to sell it. Not even a moral way to sell it, just ethical. I don't give a fuck about, because the goddamn stock market. Gotta please and appease the shareholders. And the people of Turtle Island pay the price. They make a sacrifice for the shareholders. And they do this in communism much worse than they do in capitalism, but they do it in capitalism. They do it worse in communism because for them, that's just them fucking balancing their budget. Killing you is a balance of the budget for a fucking communist. Understand that. The reason why China doesn't kill people like they did in the Maoist days is because they said, you know what, the people that want to make money make a point. And then the communists found out that the only market powerful enough to finance communism is a willing capitalist entity. And then the communism parasites off of the free fucking market. You see. Turning communism into the safety net for when capitalism crushes you and you give up on yourself in a free market capacity, and you then possibly can project that onto other people by your interest in making everyone communist, because you're failing too hard. Right? It sucks. You don't understand how you see other people around you that are comfortable in their lives after working a fucking 8-10 hour fucking day. Like, I do this in fucking construction, right? Like, some people just don't fucking get that. Like, dude, like, I get it. Like, running around doing these little things over and over and over again to accomplish the building and the project, which does a thing, which, you know, the thing is great and all that, but it's just like, it's the you and the what you gotta do about it, right? But, you know, you wanted to make an economy so you could be a low labor cog in a machine that's got everything taken care of, wants it that way for everyone else, which is your compassionate side, to, make up for your laziness. With these lower standards, you don't need to have high standard immigrants. They just need to be slightly higher standards. And then you just have to have an incentive for keeping the shit labor on. Right? Now, now our economy was hemorrhaging hard because of everything, right? And I don't know what is ultimately going to be the legal status deal with anybody in any workforce wherever I'm going. I don't know if it's going to be better in Louisiana than it is in Connecticut. What I do know is that have to carry myself, show up for myself, whatever the hell the situation is.